Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Have you ever felt torn between holding on to a friendship or relationship because it's familiar, even though you know deep down it's not helping you grow? It's a tough realization, isn't it? Sometimes the people closest to us, the ones we've shared countless memories with, might not be meant to stay with us forever. But here's where the wisdom of Stoicism can help us. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us about personal growth and living a fulfilling life. It reminds us that sometimes we need to make tough choices about who we surround ourselves with. It's not about cutting people out without care, but about intentionally choosing relationships that uplift and inspire us to be our best selves. If you're at a crossroads feeling the weight of a decision that could change your path, know that you're not alone. Today, we explore the signs. It's time to let go of certain ties, making space for new growth, deeper connections, and a life aligned with your values. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, believed in the power of personal growth. He emphasized that to live a fulfilling life, we must constantly evolve and push our boundaries. If a relationship is holding you back from growing, it's a red flag you can't ignore. Now, I'm not saying every relationship needs to be super intense, like setting world records, but the people who care about you should want to see you do well. They should be your cheerleaders, not holding you back with doubts or regrets. It's important to ask yourself tough questions like, why am I holding on to this relationship? Is it out of habit, fear, or loyalty? These are hard questions, but they're necessary. True connections should lift you up. They should make you feel like you can be better today than you were yesterday. Stoicism teaches us to surround ourselves with people who add positively to our lives. It's not about having lots of friends, but having friends who make your life better and help you grow. If you're in a relationship that feels more like quicksand than solid ground, it might be time to think about why that is. Remember, it's not selfish to want to grow. Sometimes, letting go of relationships that hold us back is the best thing we can do for ourselves. It's about being grateful for the lessons learned and finding the strength to move on. We've all been in relationships where drama seems to be the main course, right? Marcus Aurelius, another wise person, had insights into dealing with emotions. He said we can't control what happens around us, but we can control how we react to it. In relationships filled with jealousy or anger, it's important to remember that we control our reactions. If you're feeling jealous because a friend seems to be doing better than you, or if you're always angry around a certain someone, it's essential to ask yourself why. What can you learn from these emotions? How can you react in a way that aligns with who you want to be? Sometimes creating space or making changes is the healthiest option. It's not about avoiding problems, but recognizing when a relationship is pulling us down instead of lifting us up. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's okay. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, even if that means growing apart from people sometimes. If you ever find yourself struggling with bad feelings in your relationships, take a moment to think about what Marcus Aurelius said. He believed we have control over our minds, our reactions, and the choice to be in relationships that bring us good vibes. In these kinds of relationships, we can grow, thrive, and find peace. Instead of letting drama take over, let's focus on building connections based on respect, understanding, and real support. These are the kinds of relationships that last and make us better people. Let's talk about something important: manipulation and control in relationships. Feeling like you're being controlled more than being a partner is a huge warning sign. It's time to talk about freedom and independence. Epictetus, a wise person, said, "Nobody is free if they can't control themselves." True freedom means being in charge of your actions, decisions, and life. So, what does it mean when we're in relationships where we feel like we're not in control? When our decisions, desires, and thoughts seem to belong to someone else, it's a clear sign that something's wrong. Manipulation and control can sneak up on us in different ways. It might be subtle, like constant suggestions that push us away from what we really want, or more direct, like demands telling us who to be or what to do. These things aren't signs of a healthy relationship. Real connections, the ones that truly matter, are based on respect and freedom. Stoicism tells us that being in control of our own lives is crucial. If you're in a relationship where you always doubt yourself or feel like you can't be yourself, it's time to ask why. Why stay in a situation that takes away your freedom and stops you from writing your own life story? Cutting ties with someone who's controlling or manipulating you isn't about being mean. It's about respecting yourself, your independence, and your right to live authentically. It's about following Epictetus's advice and taking back your freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, grow, and live by your values. Yes, walking away from such relationships can be hard. It might mean letting go of something familiar or someone you care about deeply. But Stoicism isn't about taking the easy road, it's about taking the right one. True relationships respect our individuality and freedom. They encourage us to explore, question, and grow. They don't try to change us or tell us how to live. If you feel like someone is pulling your strings, think about what Epictetus said. Nobody is truly free who isn't in control of themselves. Ask yourself if it's time to cut those strings and embrace the freedom to be yourself. It's a journey worth taking, a journey toward a life where you're in control, surrounded by relationships that lift you up and respect your freedom. Let's value and seek out connections that empower us, allowing us to be the masters of our own lives, because true friendship and love should set us free, not hold us back. What happens when a relationship starts doing more harm than good? When spending time with someone leaves you drained, stressed, or feeling down? It's like walking on eggshells all the time, stuck in a cycle of arguments and feeling low whenever they're around. These are big warning signs that something isn't right. Healthy connections, the kind we all deserve, are supposed to feel good. They should make our lives better, bring us joy, and support us through the ups and downs. They shouldn't add constant stress or make us doubt ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with ourselves and others, pursuing virtue and tranquility. It emphasizes the importance of keeping relationships that help us be our best selves. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that pulls you away from peace and being your true self, it's worth thinking about what the Stoics might say. They'd probably tell us to step back and look at the situation clearly. Is this relationship making you feel good? Is it helping you become a better person? Or is it making you feel bad all the time? If it's the second one, maybe it's time to think about whether this relationship is really good for you. Stoicism teaches us to be aware of ourselves and to make tough choices that are good for us in the long run. It's not about being mean, it's about knowing what's best for us. Sometimes that means moving away from relationships that make us feel bad. Not every rough patch means a relationship is bad, but if you always feel bad because of someone, something needs to change. Good relationships have challenges, but they should also give us support, love, and help us grow. if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, that's me, maybe it's time to think about what you can do to fix things. Talking honestly about how you feel is important, and if things don't get better, it's okay to put yourself first. Stoicism says we need to take care of ourselves and let go of relationships that aren't good for us. Let's look for relationships that make us happy and help us grow, instead of making life harder. Remember, facing tough choices helps us become stronger and truer to ourselves. That's the Stoic way. Embracing what helps us and letting go of what doesn't. Another big thing is mutual respect. Without respect, there's no good foundation for anything positive. It's like trying to build a house on sand. It's not going to work out. The Stoics thought self-respect and respecting others were really important. They believed everyone has worth and dignity, and we should treat each other that way. So if you're in a relationship where you're not treated with respect, that's a big warning sign. It's not just about feeling unappreciated, it's about your basic humanity being ignored. Respect is super important for any good relationship. It's what trust, love, and understanding are built on. If it's missing, what's left? You're left with a relationship that's empty and not worth your time and effort. Now, some of you might be saying, but what if it's not that easy? What if I really care about this person? Relationships are tricky and feelings are strong. But Stoicism can help us figure things out. Stoics were all about being clear-headed, rational, and living by our best values. They'd tell us to look at our relationships honestly. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? If not, it might be time to make some big changes. It doesn't mean being cold or cutting people out of our lives without thinking. It means knowing our own worth and making choices that show it. Maybe it's setting clearer boundaries, having a serious talk about how we feel, or even realizing it's time to move on. Remember, respecting yourself and expecting respect from others isn't selfish or demanding. It's about knowing your own worth, just like the Stoics believed. It's about living honestly and making sure your relationships show the respect and goodness you believe in. If you're dealing with a lack of respect, think about what it means for you and your happiness. Find ways to address it that honor your dignity and values. Because everyone deserves to be in relationships where they're treated well, just like they treat others. Let's aim for relationships based on respect, where everyone is valued for who they are. That's the kind of relationship that not only lasts but grows, showing the best of what it means to live a wise and good life. Now let's talk about seeing things clearly. Stoicism is about accepting reality as it is, not how we wish it could be. It's like taking off rose-colored glasses and seeing things as they truly are. So, what does this mean for our relationships? It means being honest with ourselves. Are we seeing our relationships for what they are, or are we holding on to fantasies? Sometimes we might ignore problems or see people as perfect when they're not. But that's like living in a dream that's not real. It might feel nice from far away, but up close it's not real or true. It's okay to have hopes in relationships, but we shouldn't lose touch with reality. Embracing truth means facing the reality of our relationships, even if it's hard. It's about being honest about what's really going on, even if it's tough. Facing reality can be tough, but it's also freeing. It gives us the chance to have real, honest relationships where we're loved for who we truly are. So, if you feel like you're living in a dream, take a moment to think, what's real in your relationship? How does facing the truth affect your happiness? Stoicism isn't about being negative. It's about finding peace by seeing things clearly. It's about understanding that by accepting reality, we can make wise choices and live better lives. Let's challenge ourselves to see our relationships with honesty and clarity. In truth, we find real happiness and love. Compromising your values should never be an option. These values guide us, showing us the right path to take in our lives. Now here's a tough question. What happens when a relationship makes us question those very values? When someone asks you to give up what you believe in, it's a tough spot to be in, but it's important to pay attention to it, and you bet, Stoicism has some great advice on this. The Stoics would say that giving up our main beliefs for a relationship isn't worth it. Why? Because our beliefs are what make us who we are. They shape our identity, affect our decisions, and determine how we deal with the world around us. Compromising on these beliefs means losing a part of ourselves, and no relationship is worth that. Being in a relationship that forces you to act against your beliefs might start with small things, but in time, these compromises can chip away at who you are. This isn't just about making compromises, which are normal in any good relationship. It's about going against the very core of who you are. The Stoics teach us that being true to ourselves and sticking to our beliefs are crucial for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all say it's important to stay true to yourself, no matter what. This is what gives our lives meaning, direction, and purpose. So, if you're in a relationship where you're being asked to go against your beliefs, it's a sign to pause and think. Ask yourself, is this relationship helping me grow? Is it letting me be myself? Or is it holding me back and making me someone I'm not? It's not easy, especially when emotions are involved. But Stoicism teaches us to reflect on ourselves and think logically. By looking at the relationship through the lens of your beliefs, you can make decisions that are right for you and stay true to who you want to be. Remember, walking away from a relationship that makes you compromise your beliefs isn't failure. It's showing respect for yourself. It's saying that you value yourself enough to only be in relationships that lift you up, respect you, and match who you are. Let's challenge ourselves to live with the integrity and values that the Stoics admired. Let's make sure our relationships honor and respect our beliefs, because that's what defines us and guides us toward real happiness and fulfillment. Now, let's talk about reciprocity. It's like a balance between people in a relationship. It's about both sides giving and getting equally. But what happens when this balance is off? When you're always giving and hardly ever getting back? It's a situation many of us have been in, and it's not great. Reciprocity isn't just something nice, it's essential for healthy relationships. A relationship where one person always gives and the other only takes is out of whack. It can lead to one person feeling resentful, tired, and unappreciated, while the other might feel dependent or entitled. The Stoics had a lot to say about relationships and the importance of mutual support. They believed in helping others, but not at the expense of our own well-being. For them, a good relationship was one where both people supported each other in being good and living well. So, if you're stuck in a one-sided relationship, think about Stoic principles of balance and mutual respect. Are you respecting yourself by letting the relationship be like this? When your relationship feels like one person is doing all the giving and the other is doing all the taking, it's a sign things are out of balance. But don't worry, it's possible to fix it. It starts with talking honestly and setting boundaries. Both people need to contribute emotionally, spiritually, and materially for a healthy relationship. Relationships change over time. They need effort, compromise, and flexibility. But most importantly, they need reciprocity. Each person should feel valued, heard, and supported. This mutual support builds trust and deepens connections. Seeking balance in relationships isn't selfish. It's necessary. Both people should give and receive love, support, and respect. Let's aim for relationships where reciprocity is the rule, not the exception. Let's embrace the Stoic ideals of balance and mutual respect, creating connections that uplift and support everyone involved. Now, onto a tough topic: abuse. Any form of abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, is a clear sign to leave the relationship. Stoicism, a philosophy about dignity, self-respect, and valuing human spirit, firmly rejects abuse. It violates the principles of self-respect and trust that relationships should be built upon. Stoicism teaches us to recognize our worth and maintain our dignity, especially in tough times. When our values are violated, Stoicism urges us to take action out of respect for ourselves. Abuse crushes dignity and self-respect, seeking to control and instill fear. The Stoic response to abuse is clear: seek help and leave the relationship. It's not just important, it's necessary for a dignified life. Leaving an abusive relationship is tough. It takes courage, strength, and often support from others. Seeking help isn't weak, it's a sign of strength and self-worth. Stoicism doesn't just advocate leaving abusive situations, it also emphasizes healing and reclaiming dignity. While we can't control others' actions, we can control our response and move forward. Healing from abuse is a Stoic journey, reasserting control over our lives and rebuilding in alignment with our values. If you're facing abuse, remember, it's not your fault and you're not alone. Reach out for help, lean on those who support you, and take steps to leave the harmful situation. When communication in a relationship fails, it can feel like hitting a big roadblock. You try to talk things out, but it's like talking to a brick wall. You can't seem to find common ground, and understanding each other feels impossible. This isn't just a small problem, it's a sign that something deeper needs fixing. And guess what? Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, can help us figure it out. Good communication is like the heartbeat of a strong relationship. It's how we share our needs, thoughts, and feelings in a meaningful way. Without it, we're just stumbling around in the dark, guessing at what the other person is thinking or feeling, and often getting it wrong. The Stoics knew the value of clear, honest communication. They practiced it in their lives and talked about it in their teachings, saying how important it is to listen, understand, and respond with wisdom and kindness. So, what do we do when communication falls apart? First, we need to realize that failed communication usually means there are deeper issues at play. It could be a lack of trust, old grudges, or simply different ways of talking. Stoicism tells us to approach the problem with a clear mind and a big heart. We need to look at ourselves first, see how we're contributing to the breakdown, and try to be as honest and open as possible. Marcus Aurelius, one of the Stoics, was big on using reason and logic to deal with life's challenges. He'd probably say we should do the same with communication problems. That means taking a step back, trying to keep emotions out of it, and figuring out where things are going wrong and why. Fixing communication takes effort from both sides. It's about making a safe space where both people feel heard and respected. It means really listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, and trying hard to see things from the other person's point of view. It's about speaking up clearly and respectfully, without blaming or assuming things, and most of all, it's about being patient and not giving up, even when it feels like you're going nowhere. Stoicism also reminds us to be empathetic and understanding in our communication. Everyone has their own struggles and worries. Sometimes what looks like anger or apathy is really just a way of protecting ourselves. By being understanding, we can open up new paths to connection and closeness. Failed communication doesn't have to mean the end of a relationship. It can be a chance for both people to grow and learn more about each other. It's an opportunity to improve our communication skills and build an even stronger bond. So, if you're struggling with communication, take a moment to think about the Stoic ideas of honesty, clarity, and empathy. Use them to guide your way through the rough patches. Remember, it's not just about talking more, it's about talking better. In good communication, we find the true heart of a meaningful relationship, where understanding and connection thrive. Picture this: a relationship where both people really listen and understand each other. You know when you're in a relationship that's supposed to make you happy, but instead, it feels like a constant storm, messing up your inner calm. It's tough, isn't it? When connections meant to make life better end up making you feel uneasy. This is a sign that we need to take a breather and think about what role this relationship plays in our lives. Stoicism, an old philosophy, says peace of mind is super important. It teaches us to keep our inner peace even when life gets crazy. The Stoics believed that being calm inside is vital for living well. So, what do we do when a relationship keeps disturbing our peace? First, Stoicism tells us to step back and look at things calmly. Ask yourself, why does this relationship upset me? Is it the other person's actions, old fights we never resolved? Or maybe it's how I react and what I expect. It's important to figure out where the problem lies. Once we know, we can think about what we can change. Can we talk openly about the issues? Do we need to set some clear rules? Stoicism doesn't say we should just accept everything. It's about fixing what we can and making life better. But if, after trying hard, the relationship still messes up our peace, maybe it's time to think about whether it's worth keeping. This doesn't mean giving up too easily. It means knowing when a relationship doesn't match our values and our search for peace. Deciding to step back from a relationship that disrupts our peace isn't easy. It takes guts, honesty, and sometimes letting go for our own sake. But remember, Stoicism says it's not about avoiding all problems. It's about building inner strength to face them calmly. The relationships we keep should help us find peace, not ruin it. They should make us stronger, happier, and bring us joy, not constant stress. So, if a relationship keeps disturbing your peace, see it as a chance to practice Stoic wisdom. Think, evaluate, and choose the path that leads to peace. Let's surround ourselves with people who add to our peace, not take away from it. In doing so, we honor not just Stoic ideas, but also our journey toward a calm, meaningful life. Remember, our relationships shape our lives, so let's find the balance, seek truth, and make sure our connections bring us peace. As we go our separate ways today, I hope you carry these Stoic ideas with you. Let them guide you through the ups and downs of relationships, knowing that the journey to peace, wisdom, and goodness is something we're all on together, one step at a time. If this talk has made you curious to learn more, to understand better, and to grow, I encourage you to explore further. Right on your screen, you'll find a playlist that will take you deeper into the world of Stoicism, its ideas, and how they can help in every part of your life. So go ahead, click on it, and let's keep growing together. Let's keep pushing ourselves and creating lives full of meaning and happiness. Thank you for being here with me today. Until we meet again, keep aiming for that calmness, Keep seeking knowledge, and remember, in life, we're all connected through our shared experiences and our desire for a good life. See you in the next video. Stay stoic.